Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
It was the Roman poet Virgil who said, "Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open. But to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell." We'll talk about that later, but now it's time for Rick Tittle and Titillating Sports on Sports Byline USA. All right, hey, thanks for that, and welcome to another live edition of Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. I'm Rick Tittle, your eponymous host, and from you would like to talk about sports. Not just sports, but sports. 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. In and get heard. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, quick ball, chess, checkers, rugby, cricket, that type of stuff. And we'll do it together at the toll-free line, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Get in and get heard. Come on, girl. Also on the internet, sportsbyline.com. Go there, click listen live. Any emails to me, send those to rick@sportsbyline.com, please. Also, we are on CRN Digital Plus 2, the cable radio network, channel 2 cable provider. We're also on twitch.tv and YouTube, as I'm looking resplendent right now. We also are on, what else are we on? CRN Digital Plus 2, I think I said. All right, let's talk about the guest today. We have a pretty full first hour. We have filmmakers in the first segment coming up after the break. We'll have a screenwriter, the guy who wrote Captain Phillips and Hunger Games. He has a new novel, sellsporttalk.com, with Patty Mangan at 9:40. And then second hour, writer Keith O'Brien. He has a new book about Larry Bird called Heartland. And then your calls at 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529, Facebook fan page, and Twitter at Rick Tittle. Come on back, everybody.
Do you want to add a boost to your sex life this weekend? Do you want to make your partner and yourself happy? Then call our special hotline now. We'll sell you those little pills that work below the belt for less than $1 a pill and deliver your package in a few days, just in time for the weekend. Our pill delivers almost the same results as expensive pills for less than $1 a piece, and you don't need a prescription. And ask about their buy 3 get 3 free offer. What are you waiting for? Boost your sex life and have a great time now. Less than $1 a pill, discreet delivery in a few days, and a buy 3 get 3 free offer? Dial this number and save it now.
800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751. Before by the Pharmacy Shop.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle Dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
You're now listening to The Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a brand new documentary which has been well received at film festivals called Immutable, and it is going to begin airing nationally on PBS on March 6th. And two of the filmmakers join us right now, and we're hoping for Haven Howard, one of the protagonists as well. Oh, we do have Haven now. Okay, great. We have all three. And we have the filmmakers, Charlie Sadoff and Gabriel London. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. And Charlie, I'll start with you. Tell us about Immutable and what it is.
Sure. Thanks for having us. Immutable is a documentary film about kids in the Washington Urban Debate League. We follow these kids. Some of them are in junior high. Some of them are in high school. Haven was a junior when we first started following him. And it's just the story of these kids and, you know, how they're growing up in Washington, D.C., and how they, you know, debate sort of is used to transform their lives, or they use debate to transform their lives. And it's a really sort of powerful, heartwarming story about what kids can do when they're given the chance.
And Gabriel, debate is something that used to be, it seemed fractious or confrontational. Now it's like one of the only respectable discourses, it seems, that we have anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think what we love about this type of debate is you have to argue both sides of an argument. In the sense, in a given round, you don't know if you're going to be affirmative or negative. So it gives you this sort of like verbal dexterity, this sort of flexibility in your mind to be able to argue two sides, which is something in this day and age that seems so foreign to us. But for these kids, it becomes second nature. It's really cool to sort of watch how they develop like a sense of two sides of an argument and how to make that case.
Haven Howard is with us as well. By the way, great name, Haven Howard. That is that's a great name. Haven, what made you decide to get into debate? Because you know, a lot of kids think, oh, that's too hard, or that's nerdy, whatever.
See, I actually love telling this story. So the way it started was I was in middle school. I think I was in 6th grade. I was like just walking through the hallway, minding my own business, and I see like a flyer. I see a flyer for a debate team. I'm like, wow, I've never did that before. Like I've done track. I was an athlete in middle school, high school too, and I'm like, I want to do something different. So I look at debate. I joined the interest meeting. I'm like, wait, this is low key kind of. This is kind of cool to participate in. So as I do more research on it, I start to get more into it. My coach was really good. She was really great, honestly, getting me started. I had so much fun learning about debate, like how it worked. And then when I realized like all the benefits that would come to me as a result, I just wanted to do it so much more. And that's really how it all started. Just my own interest in learning more about things happening in the status quo, but also, just having fun with debate in general.
Very cool. And Charlie, the Washington Urban Debate League. I mean, the word "urban" is right there, and from the Oakland, California area. And I know a lot of people are underserved, and they have housing issues and economic challenges as well. And then you have the dichotomy in D.C. of there's a lot of areas like that, and then there's a new ballroom being built within sight of some of these neighborhoods. What about the Washington Urban Debate League is so profound and also a path to further education?
It's a great question. So Gabe and I are both from DC, so that's why we focused on the Washington Urban Debate League, and we knew about a debate camp that was there that starts in the summer. That's free for kids, and that's how a lot of them get their start in this, because debate is generally considered an activity for elite schools, private schools. There are some public schools that have it, but they're generally really well funded. So the Washington Urban Debate League provides the opportunity for kids in DC to participate. It's a lot, there's a lot of grassroots efforts to get these leagues going, and the schools have to sort of work on their own to get their program started, and kids sometimes have to recruit their own coaches. But in the end, I think what's interesting is that in DC, which is supposed to be sort of the home of debate, in Senate and House and Congress, the kids in these leagues, when you watch them debate, they're doing a lot more listening and arguing with facts than what we see going on in DC in general. And I think that's, because we're from DC, we focused on that. But I think what you're talking about, how sort of the dichotomy, the juxtaposition of what's going on in Congress and in DC in general, and what's going on with these kids is pretty profound.
You're so right. I mean, the word parliament means let's talk. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. Haven, for you nowadays, everything is so divisive, and you're told who to like, who to hate, pick a side. What's it like to actually use critical thinking and then have those skills to take in information and then make up your own mind?
Honestly, it's more of a mindset. Like debate taught me that you gotta have a certain mindset going to things. Like when it comes to research, you gotta have an open mind. You can't look at an article that is all statistics and be like, there's no way this is true. You gotta have an open mind, look into it. And I think that's the approach I've had. Whenever I'm doing research, you're told to pick a side, but in debate, you are not allowed to. You have to go negative and affirmative, depending on the tournament, like 3-3, make it the elims, you flip a coin. Like you don't normally get to decide what side you have to argue for, so you have to be flexible. That's where the critical thinking skills come from. But I think that mindset is what allows me to be flexible a lot in my approach, which helps me not just in debate, but also like in real life outside of debate.
Have you seen some of your skills, Haven, and thought, I might be a pretty good litigator. Maybe I need to go to law school here?
Yes, I have actually. My friends all, I think of me very highly because when it comes to like, I guess, intellectual topics, I can usually speak a lot to it because of the research I did on it through debate, or like the readings I would do. Like debate allows you to become like very, um, very knowledgeable about different topics. It can vary easily from anything from like food insecurity to poverty to nuclear war to politics. It doesn't matter. You can become very knowledgeable in any topic of your choice, which I think is a great thing, which is how I got here today.
Well, that's awesome. Last question, Gabriel. A lot of times, as a mentor or adults in the room, we're like, these are kids, and then you watch them, and then you maybe realize, I'm glad I'm not in this debate league. They'd be clowning me right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think when you see the film, what's so interesting about it is they're really trying to get as many arguments in a given round as possible. There's something called spreading, which is speed plus reading, and you're putting out as many arguments as possible in a given time, in a given round. And when we as filmmakers went into that room and tried to decipher that and understand it, it was nearly impossible. I mean, you really have to realize there are tools and tactics that these guys learn that are just amazing. And so for me, yeah, debate didn't feel like something that I could just get in a round and go, yeah, I'd make this point. It's not stylistic. It's really highly, informed by the facts and this, the arguments like Haven was explaining.
Really cool. The documentary is called Immutable, and it'll start airing on PBS this Friday. We've been speaking with the filmmakers Charlie Sadoff and Gabriel London, and one of the stars, Haven Howard. Thank you so much, you guys, and hopefully we'll catch up down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Very impressive young man there. All right, let's take a break. We will come on back. Billy Ray is standing by on the other side to talk about his new novel right here on Sports Byline.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Sometimes life changes, and the house you once loved becomes a burden. Too many repairs, too many memories, too much to handle on your own. If you'd like to sell your home fast, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline. We can help you sell your home as is, no cleaning, no showings, and there are absolutely no hidden fees or real estate commissions. We'll pay you a fair price for your home in cash, whether you're downsizing, handling an estate, or just ready for peace of mind. Call us. We'll help you walk away from your problem property in no time at all and get you the cash in your bank account with little hassles. If you'd like to sell your home fast, as is, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline.
Call Want to Sell Your Home now for a free quote to sell your home in any condition. Call 800-950-3143. 800-950-3143. That's 800-950-3143.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
Why can't you say you talk to me? You're already thinking about someone else. When it comes home, your bed is on and I'll be gone. But I know my day will come. I know someday I'll be the only one. So now you wait for a spark.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right. Thanks for that, I guess. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show Academy Award nominated screenwriter Billy Ray. And he has gone from writing a screenplay to writing a brand new novel, which is entitled Burn the Water. And Billy Ray wrote Captain Phillips, which is a fantastic movie. I'm the Captain Now. And The Hunger Games as well. Billy, welcome to the show. And I mean, just on a rudimentary platform, I understand, when you write a screenplay, guy walks in, dark room, brown suit. With a novel, you don't have to do all that, but it's a completely different discipline. How did you find it? Billy Ray? All right, let's try. It's always when I have a long, elaborate intro. But that's the way I am. I was a guest on a podcast recently with these young guys, and they were like, Rick, we want to ask you, why do you go in asking the first question? How come you don't say hi? I go, because hi and bye is a conversation on the street or the phone, whatever. We only have so much time. But there are some radio guys who do that. How's it going, man? Good. Everything good? Yeah? What's new? Doing all right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you written a book, huh? I'm like, if that's your style, that's your style. I'd rather say, this guy's written a book, and here's the question. And I know sometimes people are taken aback by that, and they go, well, first of all, it's good to be here. And I understand that as well. Feeling good to Billy Ray. Billy Ray Cyrus. Billy Ray Valentine. I think that was his name. Trading Places. Eddie Murphy as well. But, yeah, he wrote The Hunger Games. I would go to an editor. Hey, got this idea for a book? Yeah. Kids are given weapons and they have to kill each other. Nah. And they have to get food. It's like, maybe not. All right. Billy Ray, are you with us?
I am, sir.
There you are. All right. I was just mentioning, the Captain Phillips, what a great screenplay and movie and Hunger Games, but I also know that when you write a screenplay, it's completely different than writing a novel. The way you set it up and the way you describe things and the nuts and bolts of a scene versus the free-flowing prose of a novel. How did you kind of find that transition for you?
It's a great question, and it was harder than I thought. When I wrote the first draft of the book, which is called Burn the Water, I wrote it in the same way that I would write a screenplay, where the goal is to be really lean and spare and muscular. And what I found was that when I gave it to people in the book world, they said, you can't write this way. In other words, if you're going to write a book, you are the camera, you are the actors' faces, you are the production designer. All those luxuries that screenwriters have, 200 other craftspeople to fill in the blanks of a screenplay, you have to fill all those in when you're a novelist. And that was a new muscle. And I just had to develop it. I had to learn as I went. And it took a couple drafts to really inhabit it. But then I did.
By the way, just as an aside, I know you did the screenplay for Richard Jewell, and I've had Paul Walter Hauser on the show. What a talented actor with an amazing
genius.
range.
Oh my God, genius! And I will say, of all the movies I've ever worked on, that is the one that I feel least got its due. I'm very, very proud of that movie, and we had a kind of a dumb, and it turns out false controversy attached to the movie right before we released, and so it didn't find the audience that it should have. But I'm very, very proud of that movie, and I continue to be, slack-jawed by Paul's performance.
I stole one of your lines, too, because when Sam Rockwell calls the Russian lady hot sauce, I had never heard that, so I do use it.
You're welcome to it, and you can have somehow heartbreak feels good in a place like this, too.
All right. Now, Burn the Water is in the space of a young adult, novel. So I always find that very challenging because you don't want Teletubbies because teenagers are like, this is too babyish. But you don't want Clockwork Orange, too. That's too harsh. So how do you find that, sweet spot?
I think about the books that I read when I was younger, and none of them condescended. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory certainly didn't, and neither did Dr. Seuss. They were writers. These were works that really challenged me. And the science fiction that I read when I was a kid, none of it condescended. None of it spoke down to me. It trusted me to step up. And so the thought for me as I was writing this was I want to respect the intelligence of young readers, because the fact is, the whole point of the book is we've got this generation of young people right now that feel very voiceless and lost and disenfranchised. And I want to make sure that my gift to them is not only are we going to get out of this, but you're going to be the ones who lead us, and you're capable of it. And you can't send that message by condescending. You have to send that message by challenging and inspiring.
All right, very well said. Okay, Burn the Water, London, 400 years in the future. The water table has risen. There's a little bit of a civil war going on. Tell us a little bit more about the plot, please.
Sure. So London in 2425, and it's 90% underwater, as is most of the planet. There's no power. There's no cell phones. There's no communications with the rest of the world. So if you're sitting in London, you have no idea if there is life on the continent or in America or in China or anywhere else. As I said, 90% of the land is underwater. The Thames has overflowed its banks by 6 feet. And what's left, the 10% of land in London that's livable, is called the Dry 10. And it's being fought over by two rival houses, two rival gangs, the Rogues and the Crowns. And the fiercest warrior in the Rogues is a captain named Rafe. And the fiercest warrior in the Crowns is a captain named Jewel, and they fall in love, and they expose themselves to true peril, to true danger, as they try to figure out what the hell they're going to do now that they are so bonded together, even though they are sworn to kill each other.
And with England's history of civil wars and conflicts and usurpers and barons and such things, did you kind of draw upon that a little bit?
Sure, we're at a medieval age level of technology. As I said, there's no power, and this is a war that's being fought with knives and swords and maces and clubs, and guns have survived the 400 years, but of course bullets haven't. So everything that's metal in this world has been stripped down and melted into these little mini balls called sluggers, and so the guns that are around have these repurposed pellets of ammunition. And there's a lot of violence and a lot of fighting in it, and a lot of love and a lot of politics. And the trick of writing Burn the Water was trying to balance those three in the right way.
Last question. We just have about a minute, so real quick. Burn the Water is a great title because it can mean anything. It's and what did it mean to you when you came up with that?
It's about the impossible.
Hmm.
There's actually a moment in the book where Rafe and Jewel are so frustrated and they're thinking, you can't burn the water. They're trying to do something that's impossible, which is have their love change the entire world. And it turns out that they can burn the water, both literally and metaphorically, and they do.
Great stuff. Burn the Water, the novel from the award-winning screenplay writer Billy Ray. So many other great movies you worked on as well. And I'm sure this will be one, if not a mini-series or something. Billy Ray, Burn the Water. Congrats on that. And let's catch up on your next one.
I really appreciate it. And by the way, the sequel is written.
Oh, wow.
And will be in bookstores a year from now. But until then, you can find the book in any bookstore or online, and there's an Audible, too, from Scholastic. I really appreciate the time to come on and talk about it.
All right, good stuff. Billy Ray, Burn the Water. What's the sequel? Scorch the Water. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with SalesPortTalk.com segment that we do Tuesdays at 9:40.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. spruce. Pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It is Tuesday at 9:40, and we check in with our friends from SailsportTalk.com. We're waiting on Patty Mangan, but we're very happy to have Dave Corbin with us. He is the Rear Commodore at the South Beach Yacht Club. Dave, welcome to the show, and many years ago, our United States Navy got rid of the rank of Commodore. It's kind of cool that you guys still rock it, huh?
Yeah, it's funny. I never, I've not joined a yacht club in years, right? And then I joined this one, and suddenly I volunteered, and they made me Rear Commodore. I didn't even know what that meant, and it turns out it means that you're responsible for everything that floats on the water that the club owns, and so suddenly I'm in charge of the youth sailing program and racing and people that cruise into the club and hang out, and people that cruise out of the club to go to other clubs. And it turns out that all of these yacht clubs have these Commodore things, and it's it's a coordination thing, it's a volunteer coordination thing.
And how cool is it, the location? For people who don't know, you're right there at what we now call McCovey Cove, and there's always something going on, especially during the summer with the Giants.
Absolutely, the Giants right there, and concerts and there was a golf thing there. There was a monster truck show. They trucked in, or a competition or whatever that is. They've trucked in huge amounts of mud and poured it all over the baseball field, and then had a monster truck party, and then dug it all up and took it out and prepared for baseball again. But when the Giants nights are happening, it's really hopping down there in South Beach. It's the bars and restaurants, of course, the game itself. And then we often have our sailboat races on those Friday nights.
Patty Mangan, we have found her from SailsportTalk.com. Patty, welcome. We have Dave with us, and you can go ahead and ask him a question if you like.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick. Hi, Dave. So
Hi.
we went out on the 5th annual 360 Treasure Island cruise last Saturday, and you were the captain. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'd love to share with the listeners about our experience. And we were celebrating the Golden Gate International Exposition of 1939 and 1940. And how much did you know about that before we went out and about?
Me, I knew quite a bit because we did it before. We did it several years ago, and but the interesting thing was the way that you laced in all the things that happened there from a sports point of view. The basketball and I had not known about that part before. The island itself being built, just for that exposition, was quite something. Adding in the clippers, the Hawaiian Pan Am Clipper fleet, that was the terminal for the Pan Am Clippers to fly to Hawaii, and it was it's a very interesting and famous place.
So yes, so when the World Fair was coming to San Francisco, they looked at about 5 different major locations to hold it, and they ended up deciding to build Treasure Island just to host the World Fair. And and it did become, it was for a while, an airport for the seaplanes. In fact, the last 3 buildings standing from that time are the original terminal and the 2 hangars. So if you take a look at Treasure Island from maybe a commuter view. That's what you're seeing. Yes. So we learned. It was the first time I've been doing this for 5 years. It was the first time I learned about the NCAA championships that were held during the World Fair, and I think I shared that with you, Rick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave. So tell us a little bit about the Treasure Island. Obviously, where my studios are right now, I'm right by Telegraph Hill, and you can see that it's cut in half because they used all the rocks from Telegraph Hill to make Treasure Island, and it was the most amazing Pan-Pacific fair. And then the Navy took over. And when I was growing up, my dad was a lieutenant commander, and we would go to the Oaks Club and have pancake breakfasts and all that. And then Clinton closed all the bases. So now almost every building was raised except for a couple. And now it's becoming a place where there's a ferry and you have new condos going up. What's it like watching these transitions from the Bay waters?
It's really amazing, actually. It feels like it kind of pops up overnight. After the base closed, it sort of was derelict. I mean, kind of left unused completely for so many years, and then in 1989 when the Bay Bridge collapsed, and they started thinking about rebuilding the bridge on the other side, on the side from Treasure Island, from Yerba Buena to Oakland. They realized that this property there, this land, is a really great place to expand for housing, for particularly, to solve the housing crunch in the U.S. in San Francisco, and just it transformed really fast. You see some buildings start to go up a little bit, and then go back a year later or 6 months later, and it's done. And they're still going up really, really fast. There's lots of stuff over there that people took advantage of. So there's a Job Corps program over there where people are living in the old barracks and learning trades. And that's pretty interesting. There's a thriving community center over there now. For a while there was a giant racquetball program going over there. I don't know what happened to it. I haven't heard any stories about it lately. But
I remember they had a rugby league there. I interviewed people from that.
And a rugby league. I didn't realize that. It doesn't surprise me. There's, some rugged people lived over there, and then of course, it's attached to Yerba Buena Island. Treasure Island is the flat part. Yerba Buena Island is the old, Goat Island. It still has a Coast Guard group on it, So, and the vessel traffic is there. That manages basically the air traffic control for the bay. They manage all the traffic in and out of the bay, and the Coast Guard station. That's a key safety thing for all of us out on the water. So it's a wonderful place.
In addition to some of the sports programs, in fact, I went there every summer when my nephew was playing in. Not rugby, but the other, it's not hockey, but it's a cross of those. There is the Gold Bar, which is, I believe, a Joe Montana project, and which is supposed to be just stunning. I'm going to go check that out. And then there's Lamar, not Lamar, but Lamar, the restaurant that was founded by the Commodore of the Treasure Island Yacht Club at the time.
Another Commodore.
Yeah. And Treasure Island Yacht Club is still there and relatively active. They were, last weekend, they had a big raft up over there. Lots of people apparently came in and tied their boats up in that very shallow little bay, which is Clipper Cove. It's a thriving community now.
Just to explain a raft that's when everybody who might be out and about will agree to pull in somewhere and tie their boats together and create a little community for a temporary part of time, not necessarily connected to docks. It can just be anchored, and depending on tides, Clipper Cove is a great place to do that. And I know that many of the people in our boat parade on Saturday did peel off to go and party there for the weekend.
Let me just throw this in, Patty, because I saw in your rundown there were some rude fishermen. What was that?
You tell him, Dave.
So Patty was doing a little show and tell on the radio of what's going on the island, or what its history and all that kind of thing, and I want to say that Patty was dominating the airwaves. so it turns out that all these VHF channels are available to everyone. The VHF channels are specifically maritime channels. Some of them are like Channel 14 is vessel traffic service. Channel 13 tends to be a bunch of professional boats, like the party boats that are out on the bay, that kind of thing. Channel 16, of course, is Coast Guard, and you can call for emergency service from the Coast Guard. Channels up in the higher area are more recreational channels, 68, 63, 70s, in the 70s, all those kind of things. And the fishermen use them too to communicate with each other, and sometimes to tell each other where their fish are and that kind of thing. It turns out that most boat radios have two powers. They have a 25-watt version and a 1-watt version. You just push the button and it switches between. So 1 watt obviously doesn't go very far, but 25-watt from Treasure Island will actually bother people in fishing boats off the coast outside of Golden Gate Bridge. And so what happens is when the fishermen get annoyed that racers, or in this case Patty, is dominating the channel, they will often turn on their radio and their broadcast radio, some sports talk or something, and just broadcast that for a while and hog the channel. And so that's what happened. It felt quite rude because nothing was going on, and no one, the fishermen weren't talking, nobody was talking, and then Patty starts telling the story, and they broke in with radio.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but I want to make sure everybody checks out southbeachyachtclub.org. They got the Casio Cup coming up, Casio with a K. Check out, great poster for that as well. And we've been speaking with the Rear Commodore, Dave Corbin. Dave, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. The Casio Cup is with a K because we don't have a sponsor yet.
All right, good stuff. And Patty, always good catching up with you as well. Sailsporttalk.com for all your information.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Let's take a quick break, and we will come on back on Byline.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
People ask me, were you must have been the class clown. And I say, no, I wasn't. But I sat beside the class clown, and I studied him.
Rick Tittle once threw a tennis ball at a donkey.
All right, lots of open lines in hour number 2 coming up at 10:40 Pacific Time. Heartland author Keith O'Brien about the hick from French Lick. That's right. Lawrence Ebenezer Bird. Dominic, you have a trivia question for me?
I do, Rick. So Steph Curry, extremely good three-point shooter. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
So my trivia question for you, Rick, is who was the last player in the NBA 2K franchise to have the highest three-point rating that was not Steph Curry?
Never played 2K, but I would probably think it was Ray Allen or Reggie.
Excellent guess, but no. I'll give you the year. So Steph's been number 1 since 2016. So 2K15 was the last time somebody other than Steph had the highest three-point rating.
Was it Kyle Korver?
Ding, 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 ding. Nicely done.
Thank you. Bringing it home and getting it in on time. By the way, if you do go to southbeachyachtclub.org, the Casio Cup with a K, they have a poster for it. It looks like, it is a beautiful work of art, and it's kind of a 70s cartoony, almost video game look to it. I'm just staring at it, and I'm impressed. Let me know when we're back on the air. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got 2 more hours. Come on back on Sports Pile.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning. And I know what you people are thinking. Mike, we just had to listen to a whole weekend of you talking about how a guy named Tyler Reddick is having a big old time in a sport where they only make left turns. You better not do that again. Well, I'm not. I'm going to talk about how a guy named Tyler Reddick is having a big old time in a sport where they make left and right turns. That's right. After opening the season on 2 super speedways where luck can often be as important as skill, NASCAR ran Circuit of the Americas road course in Austin, Texas on Sunday, where both right turns and the use of a brake pedal are required. Reddick had won the first 2 races and was one of the favorites on Sunday, but he wasn't the favorite. That was a guy by the name of Shane Van Gisbergen. A New Zealand native, the man known as SVG, had won the last 5 road course events. He was the heavy favorite on Sunday, on the only road course he hadn't conquered yet at the Cup level. Meanwhile, Reddick was trying to become the first man in the 78-year history of the sport to start the season with 3 consecutive wins. So a solid storyline going in. How did it play out? Well, during the final stage of the race, it actually came down to Reddick against SVG. But with his 23XI Racing boss man Michael Jordan once again at the track, Reddick got stronger as SVG began to lag. Reddick pulled away over the last 5 laps to win the race and make history. And I'll reiterate one more thing I said over the weekend, then put it away for good. What Reddick has going on right now is the kind of story that NASCAR 23XI, his manufacturer Toyota, and his own personal representation ought to be forcing into the mainstream conversation more. Alright, listen everyone, I think I got all that stock car out of my system. Now I can join the debate over whether or not it's ethical that a quarter of NBA teams every year intentionally tank their seasons. Or, better yet, just wake me up when the phony playoff play and games are over with. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA, Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money.
Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call, or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to Hour 2 of Titillating Sports. There was this, I saw that Macron, president of France, was at a nuclear subbase, and everybody sang La Marseillaise. It was very poignant and quiet. But I love national anthems. Doesn't mean I happen to love the country, but I do love national anthems. Most of them are pretty cool. And that one's pretty awesome, too. Azan es citoyen, formez vos bataillons. But anyway, there was a picture of Macron on his private jet. They don't have an Air Force One jumbo jet, just a private jet. And then it looks on either wing, there are two, I would imagine they are Mirage. The Mirages are the top fighter jet in France. But on either wing, he's getting an escort of 4 Mirage from the French Air Force. And there's a picture looking head-on at these 5 aircraft. And then below, you can see Le Mont Saint-Michel. And so it's over northern Brittany. And I went to Le Mont Saint-Michel. I walked completely around Le Mont Saint-Michel. I went up to the top. St. Michael's Mount, one of the only places that held out in many conflicts because the water would come in and then would go back out. But just the juxtaposition of when there were kings, the House of Valois, the House of Bourbon, whatever, and then now the head of France is flying over that same island. I just thought it was a really cool contrast from here is basically the new quote-unquote King of France flying over Le Mont Saint-Michel. It is a great picture, and nobody else cares. 1-800-878-PLAY is the number. By the way, I will be racing in the Casio Cup. I'll be wearing a Casio watch and playing a Casio keyboard as well with a C. Come on back.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Hour 2 of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of titillating sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Check me out, yo. What you got? Come on in and get heard. 1-800-87-I-PLAY. This is how I'm gonna talk now. No, I won't. There are a lot of people around the world very concerned about the World Cup now. I talked about it yesterday, and not just the United States. I mean, there's cartel violence, and the Mexican government themselves killed El Meche and the New Generation gang. There are a lot of people who are concerned about it. You know, Trump hates Canada. He hates he hates Denmark. Denmark might come. He hates Iraq. Iraq might still come. They're in a playoff. But the guy who's maybe the most sycophantic, I mean, you have guys like Rubio and Cruz and Vance, who all were insulted and said terrible things about the president. And then when he offered them a job, they were like, yes, sir. There'll always be bootlickers like that. So people who deserve zero respect. But I think maybe one of the kings of people who deserve zero respect is the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, which means the little infant. And I'm surprised how bad he has bowed down to Trump. I think about Joao Havelange, who was the president of FIFA during the last World Cup here. He was like 6'5", 75-year-old Brazilian with shoulders wider than A-Rod, and I met him, and he was a very formidable character. He was friendly. He shook my hand, but he looked like Boris Karloff. I mean, he was I doubt very much that Joao Havelange, the Brazilian, would have been like, hey, we made up a prize for you, and I'm going to wear a hat that says MAGA and whatever. But, you know, just 2 weeks ago, Infantino put on one of those gas station hats that said USA on it, and then he laughed and took it off. This is the same Infantino who gave the FIFA Peace Prize which was a very scary moment because everybody, including Trump, took it seriously. But for FIFA and every one of the associations scheduled to be represented, this is a deadly serious situation. And I think about the past two World Cups in Qatar and Russia. They were politically charged, but this could have unprecedented problems. And Trump says that he's going to be highly visible during the World Cup. You know, as I said, he wants Canada to be the 51st state and charges them with tariffs, and it's just they're another co-host. But FIFA have come under terrible scrutiny for their ticket pricing policy. And as I mentioned, not just Mexico, but more specifically Guadalajara has been beset by that narco violence just basically 3 months before kickoff there. That is a host city. And the BBC reported that officials in FIFA were warned that there could be catastrophic consequences if the 11 U.S. host cities do not receive funding because of the government shutdown. And now that the United States is bombing Iran, a country who is scheduled to play 3 games there, I talked about that in L.A. and Seattle, that's also awkward as all get out. So at the moment, FIFA clearly feels that there's nothing of significance they can do or say. They keep stum, quiet, nothing. But Infantino has already aligned himself with Trump in a hugely emphatic fashion. And he brought the World Cup to the Oval Office, and he let Trump hold it. I kind of like what I was talking about Daniel Radcliffe backstage at the Today Show with Alyssa Liu. And he said, "Can I put on the gold medal?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he starts to put it on, and he's like, "I'll just hold it." He goes, I don't deserve to pull it on. I'll feel weird." She goes, "You can put it on." He goes, "No, I'll hold it." And I love that presence of mind is as he's putting it on, he's like, it's like, "Can I wear your medal of honor? I'll hold it and look at it. I'm not going to put it on." I kind of like that. But no, Trump was holding the trophy, and whatever your views, right or wrong, and not just America, but American foreign policy, I mean, having a working relationship with the president of the host country is clearly advisable and recommended, right? But fawning over him? And, of course, this guy, Matthias Grafstam, the FIFA General Secretary, he was speaking at the International Football Association board meeting in Wales, and he said that they were going to monitor developments to ensure everyone would be safe. But that will be put to question now to every national association with these geopolitical events that are taking its turn, not to mention that trouble in Mexico. And so in a couple of weeks' time, like just take England's, the German coach, Thomas Tuchel, he will name his squad for England's friendly matches against Uruguay and Japan at Wembley at the end of this month. And in those upcoming media sessions, he will find out that managing the England football team is not just about the football, because he will be expected to have political views about Iran and the instability in the Middle East and the World Cup. And right now, those ramifications do not include any threat to the tournament taking place, but they will be serious. And Infantino has been slavishly happy to go along with MAGA and the routines from Trump. And it's just, they're not going to make the World Cup great again unless they can get this to calm down big time. But, you know, I do think that when it comes down to people saying, you know, we're going to boycott the World Cup, are you win? It's not going to be a country that has a chance to win it. I just don't see it happening. You know, it's like let's you know, hurt Trump where it, you know, get him where it hurts, and then Trump would say, "I don't care." Well, how does that hurt me, right? In what way now am I brokenhearted over it? But, it's not just a funny thing here where you're building ballrooms. And see, I could never be president because if every single U.S. serviceman or woman who died, I would be obsessed with it. And I would be so heartbroken that because of my decision, they died. That's why you need people who have the cojones to do that. When you're a commander-in-chief, people are going to die. But I think if that did happen, I would be a little bit more like Macron or Zelensky and not be doing a press conference at a golf tournament or at my own golf course or building a ballroom, which is going to dwarf the White House. So anyway, this does have to do with sports. And the rest of the world is very concerned, and we're concerned over here as well because we want everybody to have a good time and have a great World Cup, and not let politics ruin it or war. So anyway, today we're monitoring it. Hopefully, it doesn't get worse. Come on back.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News & World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
By noon, I need them 8,000 hens moved into their new cages. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate, but you give them a good shaking, they'll settle down for you.
Do the chickens have large talons?
Do they have what?
Large talons.
I don't understand a word you just said.
Who cares about anything else when you've got Rick Tittle on the radio?
Oh, bless your heart. Coming up, we're going to talk about Larry Bird. All right. Breaking news in the world of baseball. The Atlanta Braves, Jurickson Profar, who to me has had a rise and fall and rise and fall and rise. He was one of the top prospects in all of baseball. Remember he and with Mike Olt, was that his name, with Texas. And Profar was a guy, I think he was up when he was like 19 or 20. And then it all kind of went in the crapper. And he went to the A's, and he was horrible. And then he got a little love with the Padres. Then he kind of went downhill again. And then he's got some love with the Braves. He was an all-star with the Padres. But he has failed a PED test for the second straight season. That means he faces a 162 game suspension the whole year. He is now ineligible to play for Team Netherlands as well. And I believe he's from Curacao. So last year, MLB joint drug agreement, he was suspended, and he missed half the season, 80 games. So this one is 160 games. If he does it again, it's a lifetime ban. Now, keep in mind that suspended players are not eligible for the playoffs. So Profar is out until 2027. Now, the Players Association is going to challenge this, but you might remember Profar 2 years ago with the Pods, 33 years old, 280, all-star team. The Braves said, come on over, $42 million deal, but the PED suspensions come without pay. So half a year last year, no year this year. And in those 80 games, he hit 45. So he looked like he was going to be a part of things. In fact, Atlanta this spring was using him as a DH and hitting cleanup. What? So Sean Murphy, another former A, and he gets back from surgery, and Hassan Kim returns from surgery. He was DHing, and it looks like probably Eli White. So now they're saying a non-roster camp invitee, Dom Smith, is going to be the guy. Giants got Dominic Smith. All he did was rake. So if you look at the free agents out there, Rowdy Tellez, I believe is from the Sacramento area, Justin Turner, Wilmer Flores, Tommy Pham, Jesse Winker. Kutch is out there if he doesn't want to play for the Pirates, but the Braves could also wait until there's cuts or explore a trade. You know, Byron Buxton is from Georgia, born and raised, but he said he wants to be a Twin for life. So maybe not. But the Braves are the favorites to win the NL East, and Fangraphs have them winning the division by a game. Remember, you got the Mets and the Phillies over there, big spenders. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think losing Profar is debilitating, but it ain't. You'd rather have him not, I guess, what I would say. All right, speaking of baseball, today at noon, and you can watch it on TV if you want, the United States national team is playing the San Francisco Giants at Scottsdale Stadium. This is the lineup for the USA. Leading off, Bobby Witt Jr. at short, Bryce Harper at first, Bryce Harper yesterday said it was between the Phillies and the Giants, but when Bruce Bochy retired, I went Phillies. Aaron Judge in right field, Schwarber DH, Bregman at third. My buddy's still mad he didn't choose Team Israel. Big Dumper catching, Roman Anthony in left, Byron Buxton in center, and Terang at second. Is it Bryce Terang? That's his first name, is Bryce? Okay. Yeah. Bryce Terang is at second, kind of an interesting second baseman. And the Giants will face Paul Skeens, former Air Force pitcher, believe it or not. But the pool play will begin tomorrow, or if you want to stay late, today at the Tokyo Dome. And by the end of this week, all 20 teams will have played a game. The championship game is March 17th. This is a pretty quick deal. It's just 2 full weeks, and then that's it. So, of the 14, well, there's 20 teams, as I mentioned. And there are some teams like Chinese Taipei, and I mentioned Israel, Colombia, even Cuba that don't have a chance. You know, I look at the Netherlands. Almost all the guys are from those Dutch ABCs, and Curaçao, Aruba, and got Xander Bogaerts and Ozzy Albies, Sedan Rafaela. That's not too bad. Their closer is Kenley Jansen. The manager is Andrew Jones, who's going to the Hall of Fame. His son, Drew Jones, is on the roster, but no. So far now. Italy. Now, they used to say if you had an Italian last name, you can play. Kind of like Israel will take you if you're just Jewish. You can just be in the religion, which would be like me playing for Italy because I'm Catholic. Now they say one of your parents has to have been born in Italy. So Jack Calioni, Dominic Canzone, Jacob Marcy, Kyle Teal, Vinny Pasgatino. The rotation, Aaron Nolan, Michael Lorenzen, Adam Ottavino. The best Italy's ever done is 7th. The KBO, Korea. No love you, Korea. The third best professional league behind MLB and MPB. And they've got some great players, obviously. Dane Dunning. That's right. Dane Dunning is part Korean. There are guys like Dave Roberts and Heinz Ward. They're part Korean. But you have Hyunjoo Ryu. You've got Hyesung Kim, Jemai Jones, Shea Whitcomb, Jun Hoo Lee. Puerto Rico, you have Lindor, Correa, Javi Baez are not on the team. And Riley Green, not on the team. None of those guys are playing. Lindor, Correa, Baez playing. Who's left? Nolan Arenado, despite being from L.A. He's got Puerto Rican blood. Elio Ramos, Eddie Rosario, MJ Melendez, Seth Lugo, Elmer Rodriguez. Canada in the pool with Colombia, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. Their captain is Josh Naylor. Got Tyler O'Neill, the little guy, Owen Casey, Bo Naylor, his brother, Otto Lopez, Edouard Julien, Denzel Clark, A's outfielder. I saw him playing the WBC. Last time around, I saw USA Canada. Jamison Taillon, Michael Soroka, Cal Quantrill, James Paxton, Big Maple. That's why he's called Big Maple. You look at Mexico. Last time in 2023, Mexico was in third place behind Japan and Team USA. Taj Bradley, Taiwan Walker, Javier Aced on the bump. Then you have Randy Arozarena, Aaron Duran, Jonathan Aranda, Alejandro Kirk, Joey Ortiz, Alec Thomas. It's not bad. But there's really only 4 teams that have a chance. It's Venezuela. You've got the Contreras brothers. You've got Salvi Perez. You've got Ronald Acuna, Gleyber Torres, Jackson Turrio, Will Abreu. The rotation is Ronher Suarez, Eduardo Rodriguez. Very strong. Japan, of course. I mean, you have the best player in the world in Shohei Ohtani. And the rotation of Yamamoto, Kikuchi, Sugano. The offense with Suzuki and Yoshida, Murakami, Okamoto. The DR, Christopher Sanchez, Sandy Alcantara, Bayo, Luis Severino, Kilo Doval, Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis, Julio Rodriguez, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Geraldo Perdomo. That's just scary. Once again, the offense, Soto, Guerrero, Tatis, Marte, Rodriguez, Machado. It goes on and on. So the USA is still the favorites. And, I have a feeling the closer is going to be Mason Miller because they also have David Bednar and Griffin Jacks. But, I mean, come on. It's going to be Mason Miller. So, and, I didn't mention a couple guys like PCA is on that team. Gunnar Henderson is not in the lineup today. He's on that team. So we'll see. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come on back with Keith O'Brien.
IBM has entered into a multi-year agreement to become the official fan engagement and data analytics partner of Scuderia Ferrari HP, the most renowned Formula One team, starting in 2025. The partnership brings together two iconic and enduring brands, both driven by a passion for innovation and commitment to progress. IBM and Scuderia Ferrari HP will conceive, develop, and deliver world-class digital experiences to bring racing enthusiasts closer than ever to the racing team, bringing marquee events to life for millions of fans around the world. Sponsored by IBM.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a systems problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get added on. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix the back end. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Over time, the more and more you do something, the better you get at it. Just like, you didn't become this excellent at radio overnight. You know exactly when to say we got 1 minute left.
Right.
Because
I'm so good looking.
Yeah,
right?
Practice makes perfect.
must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
All right. What the heck was that? Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There's a brand new book out today from Atria Books. It's called Heartland, A Forgotten Place, An Impossible Dream, and the Miracle of Larry Bird. The author of that book, the award-winning author of that book, joins us right now, Keith O'Brien. Keith, when did you decide, you know what, we know Larry Bird, we know his story, but we really don't? When did you decide I need to do the true opus on this guy?
You know, I started my work on this book about 2 years ago. I just felt like we've been telling the Larry Bird story the wrong way all these years. You know, anytime we come to this story, we end up doing the Bird magic story, you know, where we do the sing-song narrative back between the two men, and I get it. I understand why we do it that way. Obviously, these two guys are going to play against each other in that epic championship game in March 1979, and they will, of course, save and define the NBA in the 1980s. But the reality of the situation is, in 1979, you know, Bird and Magic barely knew each other. They're not friends. They're not rivals. They're not anything. And so what I wanted to do was just sort of tilt the camera in a different direction and come at the story from a different perspective and really tell the story of the rise of Larry Bird in rural Indiana in the 1970s. This narrative really unfolds between 73 and 79. Everything else after that is epilogue material.
So what happened at Indiana where, was it Bobby Knight? Because he did go there for what? Just a few weeks, and then he was like, screw it, and went back home, right?
That's right. That's right. You know, Larry Bird graduates from Springs Valley High School in French Lick, Indiana, in the spring of 1974. And, you know, Bobby Knight recruited him during that window of time, but he didn't get to know Larry at all. He didn't know what Larry needed. He was completely unfamiliar with Larry Bird, the person. And, you know, Larry Bird was a very sensitive young man who had come from a troubled home and a difficult background. And when he arrives on campus in Bloomington in August 1974, frankly, he's a little lost. The campus in Bloomington is about 15 times as bigger than French Lick itself, where Larry grew up. He feels poor there. He feels overlooked. And, you know, I did unprecedented reporting around this. You know, in the window of time that Larry is there, Bobby Knight can't be around. It's just pickup games between the guys on that team. And that's a really good Hoosiers team that's there. And in one of those last pickup games that Larry Bird ever played, you know, he was complaining afterwards. He felt that guys weren't passing him the ball or weren't playing him at all. And in the locker room, according to people I interviewed, you know, Larry was complaining about that. And one of the other Hoosier players said, "Hey, tell us again, Larry, where are you from?" And the point was clear. You know, Larry was a nobody from nowhere. And at that point, he packed up his things and he hitchhiked home.
You know, is growing up poor, as you mentioned, and his dad, who was a war veteran, killed himself when Larry was still pretty young. Did he have a drive because of that, or was he already a fierce competitor?
You know, one thing I learned about writing about Pete Rose and now writing about Larry Bird is that quality to push yourself, to compete in every venue, really I do think is born in you. You know, Pete Rose had it. Larry Bird absolutely had it. But it is interesting, you know, Pete came from a home where his father was a little overbearing, too tough on him, a working class home on the west side of Cincinnati. Larry Bird, you know, comes from a home where his father has really, you know, sort of disappeared by the 1970s. He's there. He's trying to get his life together, but Joey Bird is struggling with alcoholism. And Larry's facing that in a home that was not all that different from Pete's. A home where, they were really living right on the edge of poverty. And so, I think it was in Larry Bird to fight and compete, but I do believe that those circumstances, helped amplify that feeling within him.
And as we all know, the only thing that made him look like a basketball player was that he was 6'9". He had weird hair. He wasn't Hollywood handsome. He had a milk-stained mustache. Everything about him said not an athlete. And so I think that was the other thing that was so fascinating about him is just basketball. You have to be the greatest of athletes. You're falling out of bounds, off balance, and you still have to get the right rotation on your shot to get it over a guy with a hand in your face. And what was it about that Larry Bird was, and look, what I remember when I was in high school, there were guys that rooted for the Celtics because they were the white guys. I mean, I'm not proud to say that, but there was a lot of that.
Well, yeah, that's a lot to unpack there. For starters, Larry obviously does grow to 6'9", but that growth spurt comes very late for him. The bulk of that growth spurt happens between his junior and his senior year of high school. He grows about 4 inches that spring, summer, and fall. And so, he played his whole life as a guard, as a small guard, and then suddenly he's a big man. So I think his history as a young boy, as a guard, bringing the ball up the floor, gives him this ability to see the floor, to see the court, to distribute the ball, things he'll become famous for later. And then also gives him, now with his new height, to go inside. It gives him this full game. That's what makes him an attractive target for Bobby Knight at Indiana and for others, during the spring of his senior year of high school. But you're absolutely right. Larry's race does matter in these days. Not at Spring Valley, but later when Larry's at Indiana State, when he's becoming an All-American, when he's becoming one of the best college players in the country, people talk about it out loud, that, Larry's race matters. At the time, the NBA was really struggling. And, I want to be clear about this. When I say struggling, almost everything drew better television ratings than the NBA. Amateur boxing, professional bowling, soap operas, reruns, all of it is more popular than the NBA. And one reason why the NBA was struggling, at least the reason it was written about at length and talked about out loud, was race. The NBA at the time was about 70% black. People thought that was a problem. I'm not saying it was. I'm just telling you what people were saying at that time. Mm-hmm. And here was Larry Bird suddenly, this talented player who also just happened to be white. And so out loud by 1978, they had given him a name that he didn't want. They started calling him the Great White Hope.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in college, I was taking a class at Cal with Dr. Harry Edwards, and Isaiah Thomas went on a rant saying the only reason Larry Bird gets any hype is because he's white. And Harry Edwards said, and just about every NBA player at the time said, look, you're right about 90% of the white dudes in the NBA, but you picked the wrong white guy to point at because he can ball. We all know it. And then now you look, after his coaching career, I remember the Quincy Market in Boston, they got these this plaque with his Converse on it. There's a Larry Bird museum in Terre Haute. And it's almost like he's Winston Churchill or something, but he's still with us. What is Larry Bird doing now?
Larry Bird has finally done in 2026 what he wanted to do 50 years ago. He's disappeared. When Larry becomes a massive star at Indiana State in the late 1970s, in the heart of the narrative of my book, he wants nothing to do with the attention. He wants nothing to do with the spotlight. And in that little window of time, because of that attitude, he really goes to war with the press. There's a lot of tension between Larry Bird and the media. These days, Larry Bird, really has disappeared. He spends his winters down south. He spends his summers on a ranch on a big piece of land in rural Indiana. based on the reporting I did for my book, when Larry arrives at that ranch in Indiana, he scarcely leaves the property for 4 or 5 months. He's just there. And, I'll say one thing about Larry Bird. He's consistent. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. If he's not going to do something, he won't do it. And, he long said he wanted to disappear, and it seems like he has.
I remember when Sean Manaea was on the A's and he had pitched at Indiana State, which is still not a big school. I mean, there are famous people who went there, but it's not like they went strength to strength and stayed a dynasty. That was the Larry Bird years were just about it. But what about the irony that that's the alma mater of John Wooden as well?
It's a crazy story. John Wooden, who, of course, will go on to great fame with UCLA in the 1960s and 70s and reel off one of the most dominant runs in the history of American sports, actually begins his coaching career at Indiana State in the 1940s. I mean, basketball back then was a totally different game. I think in that little window of time in the 1940s, there wasn't a 32-team bracket. There wasn't a 40-team bracket. There was a 4-team bracket or an 8-team bracket. That was it. There was no March Madness. There was no tournament. It was a very rudimentary and primitive beginning. But it is fascinating to think that two of the all-time greats in basketball both got their start at Indiana State in Terre Haute, a small, working-class school for the most part, where in the 1970s anyway, kids were striving to become the first in their family to ever graduate from college.
The book is called Heartland. We're just scraping the surface. A Forgotten Place, An Impossible Dream, and the Miracle of Larry Bird. Available brand new today, Atria Books, from our guest, Keith O'Brien. Keith, congratulations on the book, and please come by when you write your next one.
Thanks so much for having me. It was my pleasure to be here.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle, and we will take a quick break and come on back.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
If you're serious about investing in gold or silver, Allegiance Gold will give you an additional $5,000 in free gold to add to your portfolio. They can help you buy any amount of gold or silver, even roll over your current IRA into gold. They've helped thousands invest millions in gold over the years, with prices that are some of the best in the industry, with fees that are fair, reasonable, and transparent. Protect your wealth with gold. Save on your gold or silver pricing when you buy from the top-rated Allegiance Gold. Invest in gold or silver today by calling Allegiance for your free gold guide. And learn about the $5,000 free gold offer with qualified purchase. Call now.
800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. That's 800-413-1937.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
This is special too. It's look, see, still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen
Don't
enough
look
of
at
that one. I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right, thank you for that. Hour 3 coming up. And by the way, tomorrow in studio, I will have the filmmakers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller for Project Hail Mary, the Ryan Gosling film. So I mentioned Team USA is playing the Giants at Scottsdale. That's the Giants' home. The Americans will play one more warm-up game tomorrow against the Rockies. Then they're going to get on a plane and fly to Houston to start the first round of the WBC. If you're a fan of other teams looking at exhibitions, I remember when Team Japan played the Giants and some Japanese guy got a single and Travis Ishikawa was at first base. And it says Ishikawa on his jersey and the guy starts talking Japanese and Travis was like, yeah, I don't understand a word. American. Colombia is playing against the Pirates. Netherlands is playing the Orioles. Panama is taking on the New York Yankees. Canada's facing the Blue Jays. Israel is playing the Marlins. Nicaragua is playing the Mets. That's all in the Grapefruit League. In Arizona, Brazil will play the A's in Mesa. Cuba will take on the Royals. I believe they're in Peoria. Italy versus the Cubs. That's at the other stadium in Mesa. Great Britain versus the Brew Crew. Mexico versus the Diamondbacks. That's in Talking Stick, North Scottsdale. The DR will take on the Tigers. Puerto Rico versus the Red Sox back in Florida. And finally, Venezuela will play the Astros. It's hotting up in it. I'm Rick Tittle. We got another hour, so come on back on Byline.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning. And I know what you people are thinking. Mike, we just had to listen to a whole weekend of you talking about how a guy named Tyler Reddick is having a big old time in a sport where they only make left turns. You better not do that again. Well, I'm not. I'm going to talk about how a guy named Tyler Reddick is having a big old time in a sport where they make left and right turns. That's right. After opening the season on 2 super speedways where luck can often be as important as skill, NASCAR ran Circuit of the Americas road course in Austin, Texas on Sunday, where both right turns and the use of a brake pedal are required. Reddick had won the first 2 races and was one of the favorites on Sunday, but he wasn't the favorite. That was a guy by the name of Shane Van Gisbergen. A New Zealand native, the man known as SVG, had won the last 5 road course events. He was the heavy favorite on Sunday, on the only road course he hadn't conquered yet at the Cup level. Meanwhile, Reddick was trying to become the first man in the 78-year history of the sport to start the season with 3 consecutive wins. So a solid storyline going in. How did it play out? Well, during the final stage of the race, it actually came down to Reddick against SVG. But with his 23XI Racing boss man Michael Jordan once again at the track, Reddick got stronger as SVG began to lag. Reddick pulled away over the last 5 laps to win the race and make history. And I'll reiterate one more thing I said over the weekend, then put it away for good. What Reddick has going on right now is the kind of story that NASCAR 23XI, his manufacturer Toyota, and his own personal representation ought to be forcing into the mainstream conversation more. Alright, listen everyone, I think I got all that stock car out of my system. Now I can join the debate over whether or not it's ethical that a quarter of NBA teams every year intentionally tank their seasons. Or better yet, just wake me up when the phony playoff play and games are over with. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-Minute Warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit Create Assistance to book a free call, or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my God, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. We'll see about J.D. Sharp from Pro Wagering. Other than that, lots of open lines, burp, at 1-800-878-PLAY. So far, the franchise tag in the NFL has been given to 3 players. It was Kyle Pitts, the tight end of the Falcons, and George Pickens, the wideout for Dallas. Well, we have a third one this morning now. Breece Hall with the Jets, 24 years old. It's going to make $14.293 million. He'll be the 4th highest paid back. Dominic, do you want to take a guess? The 3 running backs that will be paid more than Breece Hall next year?
McCaffrey.
Yes.
Derrick Henry.
Yes. And the richest one of all?
I was doing so well, I don't know.
Saquon.
Duh.
No, that's good, though. You got 2 right away. Now, there is a chance that this franchise tag will not be the contract because they have until July 15th now to get a long-term deal. But the Jets are quite happy they have their 1,000-yard rusher. Now, he only had 4 touchdowns last year, and that's mostly because the Jets suck. But Hall still, when you run for over 1,000 yards for a team like that, that's not that shabby. And he's also a very good receiver. He averages over 50 catches a year in his first 3 years. And prior to getting tagged, though, Hall was going to join this list of notable running backs who are going to hit the open market, which is going to be March 11th, next Wednesday. You got the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris out of Antioch, Rico Dowdle, Travis Etienne out of Clemson, and some others as well. All right. Twitch.tv and YouTube, I'm on that right now because I'm so great. Also, sportsbyline.com, streaming along. If you want to get in on that, you can go there, click listen live, and emails rick at sportsbyline.com too. And tweet at me on X at Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recovery for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties, fires, carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the brunt of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical conditions as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, it's 800-943-9215.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
Thank you for that, Triumph the Insult Dog. 11:12, and it's great to catch up with our friend JD Sharp. He is from Pro Wagering, a professional prognosticator, and we like to get his thoughts and insights on things. And especially if you want to bet, you want to make sure you talk to JD. JD, the Jets have franchised Breece Hall this morning, and probably a good piece of business. They can still negotiate now until July if they want to give him something more, but a little over $14 million for a guy who still had over 1,000 yards for a terrible team and averages over 50 catches a year. I mean, to me, that's better than letting him walk, right?
He's not a bad player. He's not a great player. He's had an okay career. Still pretty young. He's like 5 years old, and he's got a little bit of upside. The Jets are just such a mess. Such a mess right now. I would try to get something for him. I guess if he has to walk, he's got to walk. But I mean, that franchise is just such an embarrassment. I would pretty much just start completely over at this point. And but I understand he's had some production for them. He's had a couple of good starts to a couple of seasons, but he always gets hurt. And like you said, he's had some production, but he just doesn't. For some reason, he can't stay healthy. And he's also, I think, got some behavioral issues as well. So, but those are the Jets. That's what the Jets do. They consistently make the wrong decision, and I don't expect them to change anytime soon.
All right, so you're not a fan of that. You got a little bit of the draft yesterday, and for most of the year, the first wide receiver was going to be Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. But now I see in almost all mocks that Ohio State's going to dominate this draft, but Ohio State, Carnell State has moved ahead. They're both about the same size, 6'2", about 200. I guess the issue for Tyson is that a durability issue. It seems like he's always hurt. But of those two, would you take Tate or Tyson?
I would take Tyson. I look at Tate and I say, okay, you played on Ohio State. You had Max Clare. You had Jeremiah Smith on the other side. Did you ever really face up against the number one corner? I don't know. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. You ran a 4.54 at the 40 or at the combine. He looks the part, 6'2", long arms, almost 200 pounds. I think he runs okay routes. I look at Tyson. I said he got his opponent's best player every single time. He's got great hands. He's really strong. He gets off of press coverage really well. He jumps high enough. I don't think he did much in the combine as far as a 40 vertical leap, etc. But I think he probably will at his pro day. Again, he had Sam Levitt as a quarterback. Didn't have a lot of weapons around him, but he was consistently productive. I think he runs really good routes, better than Tate. I like Tyson.
What do you think about Mekhi Lemon, a little bit shorter but productive at USC?
Very productive. Reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's faster than Lemon, but he played well. 5'11", 180. Again, didn't do anything at the combine. Did an interview that was kind of crazy. Said some crazy stuff. Sounded crazy, looked crazy. But as far as him, I don't really know where he'll be in the 40, where in the vertical leap, but he definitely has production. He'll be a pro player. How is he going to be in the pros? I really can't tell you. Comparison, maybe Doug Baldwin, maybe Jackson Smith-Jigba, but smaller and probably strong. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown comparisons are a little off. Amon-Ra St. Brown packs quite the punch. He's only 5'11", but he's about 208. Runs great routes, breaks tackles, tough to bring down. So I think I'm not sure that applies to Lemon. I think Lemon's much smaller than St. Brown is.
All right, help me with this, JD. The corners that there are basically three that are getting most love: Mansour Delane at LSU, Jermod McCoy at Tennessee, and then on the other side of are you still there, JD? I think I heard him hang up. Yeah. Why don't we shut that down, Dom, before we hear the Dom? Or is Dom on the phone right now? We lost JD, so we're going to try and get him back. But anyway, it's always hard when you try to prognosticate these things. But, I mean, number one of all, the hardest position ever to prognosticate is quarterback. Every once in a while, it's like, this guy should be great, Peyton Manning. And he is. Then you get Andrew Walter out of Arizona State, 6'6", breaks all of John Elway's passing records, Pac-10 records, and he was actually not. We don't have JD?
No, it's going straight to voicemail. Might be an issue with his phone.
Okay. Maybe some people with crooked noses got to him. Just kidding. Vega, who is the guy, the wide receiver for the Raiders? He signed his, it'll come back to me, of course, when we're off the air. But he signed a contract with the Raiders. And he, it's on the tip of my tongue. But he went to Vegas and he was showing his bling. He had like all these diamond-encrusted watches. And then he got rolled up and they stole all his jewelry. And I felt bad that all his jewelry stolen, but I thought it could have been much worse. You might remember that at Radio Row when Akbar Biajamila sat down with me, that he talked about how Al Davis went by and saw Warren Sapp's diamond-encrusted ring and said, yeah, I used to buy stupid stuff like that. But then, and by the way, when we had JD on yesterday, he talked about Monroe Freeling, his favorite tackle. Well, the hype on him now, he's basically become tackle number one. They had him mocked to the Niners at 27. He's shot up into the top 10 now. He just had an immensely athletic combine, and 6'7", 315 out of Georgia. Now, sometimes you can be too tall. Like, what? Yeah, you can get your center of gravity's too high. That's why every once in a while you'll have tall, goalies in hockey. But a lot of times the goalies aren't very tall because when they crouch down, they're actually the perfect size instead of being hunched over and being the tall guy. But these tackles that are supposed to go late, Freeling not more, but this guy Blake Miller out of Clemson, he's 6'7", 320. Caden Proctor out of Alabama, 6'7", 352. They had to add the 2 in there. And people were saying what Caden Proctor needs to do is, quote unquote, take care of himself. I just think it's amazing to see, the number one overall pick is going to be from Indiana. Maybe the top corner is going to be from Indiana. And you talk about this fantastic wide receiver class, 5 or 6 in the first round. How about Omar Cooper, who was Mendoza's top target, just explosive and great hands. I don't know if you saw his game-winning catch against Penn State. He had 14 touchdowns. 9 of them were big, big plays, like home run type touchdowns. But it's going to be a good class. But, I remember there was an amazing wide receiver class, and I can go through 5 other names, and the first one off the board was Henry Ruggs. Not that great. All right, JD's phone broke. That means we have open lines the rest of the way at 1-800-878-PLAY. DJ Quick Night.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. Now, MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new CareWatch. If you need help, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The CareWatch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. The CareWatch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your CareWatch for free. Call us to get your CareWatch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News & World Report has recognized Vivint as the professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So, what if we could promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUYBLUE. And thanks for calling.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
thinking about calling Rick Tittle, just put down that phone and shut your ugly face.
All right, thanks for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you. And J.D. Sharp is back. His phone died. J.D., are you with us?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that. Totally. I had no idea my phone was that low. No idea.
All right.
So I've been a busy day.
No problem. I wanted to ask you, we were looking at the mocks, and it's so hard for me to pick a corner. All three of these guys are 6 feet tall. You got Mansur Lane from LSU. You got Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. And then on the other side of the ball, or I should say on the other side of the field, is the Tennessee sophomore, Colton Hood. I know some people also like Avion Terrell from Clemson, who's a little bit shorter. But how do you see these corners?
Pretty weak corner class, to be honest with you. Mansour Delane transferred from Virginia Tech, was pretty good for LSU last year. He's got size. He's got enough speed. I think he'll probably be a pretty good pro. Jermod McCoy didn't play at all. He was hurt the entire year. Maybe he played one game. They talked about him as a top 5 pick. He's got all the measurables, 6'1", 195. Apparently runs like a 4.35, 4.3, 4.38 or something along those lines. Seems to be pretty tough. I've never really seen him play before, but the accolades are there with him. Yeah, Avion Terrell, he was touted as a pretty highly. I mean, obviously his brother is AJ, who's in the pros, so he's got the lineage. He's not that big, maybe 5'11", 185, 190. I'm not sure how fast he is there. I think he'll probably be a decent pro. AJ's been pretty well. Now, is he going to be a starting cornerback? Probably not. If I had to choose between those three, I would say probably Mansour. I wasn't really impressed with him at LSU. I think he's pretty overrated, but he definitely knows how to play the position. I've watched him make some pretty athletic plays multiple times. He's okay at tackling, and he definitely has size. So, again, not a very good class, but probably a second. I don't think there's a first rounder unless Jermod McCoy has just an amazing pro day. He might be a first rounder, but I don't think Delane's going to be a first round guy. I don't think Terrell is. I think we're probably going to see a second or a third round guy, or maybe a second or a third rounder at corner, unless Lorenzo Styles, brother of Sonny Styles, who ran a 4.28, 6'1", 195 for Ohio State, unless he somehow sneaks in the first round, if someone becomes obsessed with his speed. A thing, and we've seen Al Davis do that many times. But yeah, I don't think we see a first round pick from cornerback in this draft, Rick.
You know, we were talking about Caleb Downs yesterday as the top safety. What do you think? And do you think he's a first round pick? And Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon, and there aren't too many white free safeties. One of my favorite Raiders ever out of Baylor, Van McElroy, in the 80s would knock your head off. Now we've had Hitman 3, we've had some other guys, but your thoughts on Dylan Thieneman, who some people say they might turn into an outside backer, but him as a safety, is he a first-round pick?
Oh, 100%. 4.35, 41.5-inch vertical leap, 11-foot broad jump. He had good tape. He had a good gauntlet at Oregon. He was really good against the run. He did okay in blitz as well. Great white hope right there. He's a really good athlete, Rick, and as good as it gets. Honestly, there's not too many athletes, regardless of race, that have been free safeties and weighed 205, 210 pounds, ran the mid 4.3s, had a 40-inch plus vertical leap, had an 11-foot broad jump, looked good in drills, and looked good on the gauntlet. I believe that Thieneman is a first-round pick. I don't think you could put him down to back, but why? There's no reason to do that when you draft a guy like a Jacob Rodriguez who can do that. He should definitely stay at his position, and he's going to be one of the best free safety athletes in the NFL the second he steps in the field. So
maybe like a bigger version of Cooper DeJean. Not that.
I don't know. I would say they're about the same. I would say he's a better athlete than DeJean is. I mean, at least testing wise. But I think DeJean's probably a little taller than he is. Thieneman's what, 5'11", 210, 215? Is that what he is?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 6'1", but I think if I had maybe a more athletic version of, I'm not going to say John Lynch, because John Lynch wasn't really that fast. Maybe like a thicker version of Jason Sehorn.
Yeah, Sehorn was a corner. I think the last white corner I can remember, a Super Bowl corner, but he lost. Yeah.
But before Riley Moss, yeah.
True. Everyone is obsessed with edge rushers, and we know why. We need quarterbacks, and we need guys to sack the quarterback. And every once in a while, someone will find a gem on the defensive line, and Aaron Donald wasn't secret. Everybody knew he was great. They didn't know how great he was going to be. But I'm looking around. The only first-round defensive tackle I have seen is Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. Now, we know about Texas Tech and their benefactor and all the money that he spent. But 6'4", about 320. What do you think about Lee Hunter?
Honestly, I don't know much about Lee Hunter as a defensive tackle. I know about David Bailey, Deanna Sutton, Zane Durant had a pretty good combine. There's not a lot of D tackles that are coming out of this draft. So I can't really speak intelligently on Hunter because I've honestly never heard of him.
Well, let me ask you about these guys because the value that you'll get, these guys are first-round picks, but mid to late 20s, there are two other rushers that are staying right now in the first round, and I just wonder which of the two you like. Cassius Howell of A&M. Now, he's a senior. He's got the experience, and he's a grown man now, 6'2", 250. But then you have Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, who's a junior, who's massive, 6'6", 285, which you usually don't see an edge rusher that big. Your thoughts on those two guys?
Howell had a really good senior year for A&M, transferred from Bowling Green, looked really good. He's got good awareness. I think he'll probably get sacks in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowl type of guy, but I think he'll probably be productive in the NFL. Falk, just like you said, he's enormous. He's a really good athlete. I think he has incredible upside. But players like Falk, if they're on the wrong team, and there's not a solid culture in place, and there's not a system to be brought into and developed from, sometimes they have a really hard time, and they kind of flame out of the league. So Falk, you got to be careful. If you could get a guy like Falk, just a pure talent like Falk, between the size, the athleticism, I think that he could do pretty well pretty quickly. Maybe if the Chiefs drafted a Falk or something like that at the end of the first round or beginning of the second round, it could be a perfect place for a guy like him.
Last question for you. Now, this is also a question about mid to late 20s. This is a great wide receiver draft, but the last two, would you, at least in the mocks I'm looking at, you got Denzel Boston out of Washington, who's almost like a DK Metcalf guy. He's 6'4". And then, of course, Mendez's favorite target, Omar Cooper, who showed how explosive he was. And he's not short, he's 6 feet tall. But which one of these guys, because we saw a lot more of Cooper, obviously, but which one of those two guys would you take?
Yeah, I would take Omar Cooper. A lot of production for multiple schools, 6 foot, 210. Kind of reminds me of Anquan Bolden. He still ran a 4.48, 4.49, runs good routes, tough to bring down. Think he'll be productive. I mean, now Denzel Boston's a really good athlete. He was pretty much the only target that DeMar Williams had for Washington last year. He does have the size. He does have some attributes, but Cooper's played really well on a big stage. He is older, but I'm not sure that's a huge issue with wide receiver because he has enough strength. He runs good enough routes. He's tough enough to bring down. And I think he has enough speed as well to make to become a. I don't know about again. It's not going to be a world beater by any stretch, but I think he could be a contributor for some team.
And you can contact JD at sharp@betmypicks.com. Once again, the word sharp at betmypicks.com. Thanks for calling me back, man. Good stuff.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Rick.
All right. And, I've always been a draft guy. I always will be a draft guy, even when my team has moved twice. Still a draft. I think it is by far the most fascinating off-the-field thing in all of sports. And you can get into trades and transfers and soccer and all sorts of things. The hockey draft, the NBA draft, MLB draft, okay. But the NFL draft. The hockey draft, they're going back to college, going back to juniors, unless you're like Celebrini. Then you're going into the team, and that's exciting. The NBA draft has turned into it was 12 rounds, and I remember it was 7 rounds. I was working in TV. It was still 7 rounds. It's 2 rounds. You have draft and stash. They're not even guys in March Madness. They're guys from France. And will they go in the lineup? Yeah. So like the NBA draft, it's nowhere near exciting. An MLB draft, you never heard of any of these guys outside of maybe 3 or 4. And even if they're amazing, they still going to have to go for some seasoning in the minor leagues. But the NFL draft, I don't care if you just won the Super Bowl. Your first-round pick should start. And especially if you won the Super Bowl, because people are going to be picking at you like, carry on. Like a bunch of vultures taking all your good players. So, like in the mock, I see Seattle picking 22. They have a corner, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina. Well, you got to at least be a nickel back there. That's why the NFL draft is. I'll always love it. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got a segment for your calls at 1-800-878-PLAY.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money. And you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mint Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mint's cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's.
And by the way, can I just say, Rick, that Rick Tittle is one of the great names of all time.
getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Rick Tittle up in here.
All right, thanks for that. And I could have left the mic off for that throat clear. Let me try that again. All right, and now we're back. I'll get back into the sports talk here for a second, but I always think it's funny when people go to Congress and then they have to answer these things. I remember I knew a girl who was fascinated when the executives at Marlboro or RJR, whenever, had to go to Congress, and then they had to act like cigarette smoking was cool. Not cool, of course it's cool, but not cool for your body. Like Sammy Sosa, ¿Qué? No hablo inglés, ¿cómo? What? And he's like, oh, I got out of that one. What would you say, Mr. McGuire, to someone who wants to take steroids? Steroids is bad. But I just bring this, and I'm not taking sides. I just think it's funny when you want to just act like you have no idea what's going on. Just no idea. Because Bill Clinton got deposed over this Epstein thing. This is the quote. Have you ever sent an email, Mr. President? Here's Clinton's quote. I sent one email to John Glenn when he was in space. And I sent one to a ship during the Kosovo War. Since then, I'm not sure I've sent one. That's like saying I sent an email to Henry III at Agincourt, and then I sent one to Harvey Two-Face. You sent one to John Glenn when he was in space? 30, 40 years before email was invented? That's awesome. That's when you're just like, all right, why don't we wrap this up? I think we got it. All right. The Kosovo War. You mean when you bombed Kosovo because of Lewinsky? Was that a war? I don't think it was a war. All right. The World Cup. One of my favorite World Cups was Italian 90. 24 of the best teams in the world. Now it's double that. It's 48. And expanding is not good. And there's a lot of people who want March Madness to expand. Mike Krzyzewski, or as anybody else would say, Krzyzewski, he is not in favor of adding more teams. So the expansion talks right now are paused until this tournament's over. And remember, with the playing games, 68 teams. Now, Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, he said he was in favor of expansion for March Madness. Mike Krzyzewski said, quote, there are less teams capable right now than ever before. And there's many have-nots, and it's not their fault. I don't think you should mess with something that's gold. It's gold. That's gold, Jerry. Gold. Brown team, Banya. I think the thing you should mess with is getting a leadership group and having them study and see what happens with that group. Not just one person. Actually, they should run it like the NBA, a staff and all that. Run it like a business. I wouldn't mess with gold right now, and the NCAA tournament is certainly that. It's all about money, Mike. And if they take those, let's face it, there are always about, 10 pretty good teams in the NIT. You throw them in there, make it 12, 80 teams. More money, more TV, more money. And I'm a realist. I wouldn't say St. Mary's is a have-not, but they have zero chance of winning an NCAA tournament. What about Bradley? What about now? What about you and it now? Now, the best St. Mary's can do is get to a Sweet 16, and that would be amazing for a school that size. Amazing. And I'm a realist. And I think it's very impressive that St. Mary's has gotten to a Sweet 16 one time. So, I mean, a little bit of a have-not, but I think Mike Krzyzewski is talking about these teams from, like, the Patriot League and the Ivy League and the Suncoast League and some of these automatic berths. And I think the thing that's gold about that, it is amazing when, like, Coastal Carolina, or Mercer, or all these teams you've heard of only because they have a basketball team, like Butler, like Belmont. I remember I went to a Belmont Cal game, and I said to my friend, and I guess I said it too loud, which I'm wont to do apparently. I said, "Where's Belmont?" And the girl turned around. She went, "Nashville, Tennessee." I went, "Oh, sorry, I never heard of you guys." "Oh, I never heard of you either." I always loved it on 95.7 when some guy would call me up and say something really stupid, and I would be like, "No, that's wrong." And then he would text me and say, "I never heard of you." I'm like, "Well, you heard of me 5 minutes ago when you called, but that's fine." It was actually kind of cool when I was at KMBR last week to look at a text line again. It'd been a while. And 3 shows there, I read a text on the air. They're not really big into the text line. But to see people chime in that way. But anyway, so, yeah. You think about now the bubble watch. And I always say, like, I think St. Mary's is safe even if they do get a bye in the West Coast Conference, which is in Vegas, and Gonzaga's out. They say, "Oh, it's the last time St. Mary's is going to play Gonzaga." Not necessarily. They could play in the tourney. When my team sucks, I love the tourney. And there was a year in the 90s, I forgot what year. St. Mary's was not good, but they got hot, and they won the tournament, and they went to March Madness, and they didn't deserve it, but they got in. And I'll never forget conference tournaments. They say, "Well, whoever wins this wins the conference." Well, I thought we just crowned them as winning the conference. Well, you did. You won the league. All right, so we're going to March Madness? Well, not if you lose in the conference tournament. Why do they have that? One word, money, honey. That's 2 words. Money. More money. And so usually, like, if St. Mary's had, like, 8 or 9 losses and was scraping through, I would be really worried if they lost to, like, San Diego in the semifinals or something. By the way, somebody asked me the other day why Pepperdine sucks. And I'll say this. Pepperdine in the 80s was pretty good. They had Doug Christie and some other players. But Pepperdine, have you ever been on campus? I've been on the Pepperdine campus many times. It's like an Italian villa. It's a completely, you're on the side of a hill in Malibu, and the beach is right there. Now, juxtapose that, it is a very strict Church of Christ school, Pepperdine. It's not a Catholic school. You cannot have someone of a different gender in your dorm, which probably means you can't have someone of the same gender if you're homosexual, too. In other words, no kissing and hugging. Well, I guess hugging's okay. But anyway, the resumes for these teams, like especially tonight, TCU, UCLA, they have some marquee opportunities tonight with Selection Sunday less than 2 weeks away. The Horned Frogs are on the road at Texas Tech, who's number 10. The Bruins host the Huskers. Nebraska is number 9, believe it or not. Nebraska is more of a football school. Not that their basketball team's been a joke, but both TCU and UCLA have shown ability to defeat these high-caliber teams, and they really need to do it. TCU has beaten Florida, Wisconsin, and Iowa State with a road victory over Texas Tech. That's playing very well right now. UCLA has beaten Illinois and Purdue, both top 15. If they can grab another one tonight, that would eliminate a lot of stress down the stretch. But most other bubble teams in action tonight face games with far less upside. In other words, you beat some scrub, who cares? And then if you lose, disaster. That's just the way it is. Kind of sucks. But if you're UCLA and you're playing San Jose State, which for some reason plays Division II basketball, or Sacramento State, then you'd be like, yeah, there's nothing good can come from this. By the way, I don't know if you saw it, Dominic, Sacramento State football, the MAC next year. Isn't that ridiculous?
It's weird. Semper Vivi, during one of his news commentaries a couple weeks ago, actually talked about it.
Did he? I'm Mike Semper. Mike Semper Vivi, I want to say, in 2001, called me up and said, I run an ice cream store in New York, but I want to do a radio show about wrestling. How do I do it? Literally, I just took the call. I go, well, maybe you can do it right here. Now look, it's a monster. What have I done? I didn't do anything. He did it. Anyway, along with Brian Alvarez. And you know what's funny is that I always wondered how they can do that show every day. And then I realized that it's only an hour.
And there's like 4 or 5 different 1-hour shows during the week to talk about.
So, because it's like you know, I was gonna do something at 1 o'clock one time, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna mess up Brian's show. I thought it was 3 hours every day. Now, oh, it's an hour. That's right. By the way, I can tell you that one of the longest shows I ever did in my life was an hour, and there was some weird thing in the scheduling at 95.7 a year ago, and my boss, the PD, Jason, said, can you just come over and just do an hour? And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm in town. And I did absolutely no prep whatsoever. And I turned on the mic, and I was like, my butt hurts. Yeah, so that taught me a lesson not to ever not take this seriously, because this is serious business here. Sports talk radio. Okay. Let's go to a break and see if I'm still on the air on the other side.
Tell me who's watching. Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I roll the door.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
If you're serious about investing in gold or silver, Allegiance Gold will give you an additional $5,000 in free gold to add to your portfolio. They can help you buy any amount of gold or silver, even roll over your current IRA into gold. They've helped thousands invest millions in gold over the years, with prices that are some of the best in the industry, with fees that are fair, reasonable, and transparent. Protect your wealth with gold. Save on your gold or silver pricing when you buy from the top-rated Allegiance Gold. Invest in gold or silver today by calling Allegiance for your free gold guide. And learn about the $5,000 free gold offer with qualified purchase. Call now.
800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. That's 800-413-1937.
Do you want to add a boost to your sex life this weekend? Do you want to make your partner and yourself happy? Then call our special hotline now. We'll sell you those little pills that work below the belt for less than $1 a pill and deliver your package in a few days, just in time for the weekend. Our pill delivers almost the same results as expensive pills for less than $1 a piece, and you don't need a prescription. And ask about their buy 3 get 3 free offer. What are you waiting for? Boost your sex life and have a great time now. Less than $1 a pill, discreet delivery in a few days, and a buy 3 get 3 free offer? Dial this number and save it now.
800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751. Paid for by the Pharmacy Shop.
I gotta go to college. I gotta.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Rick Tittle ain't the man, but Rick Tittle know who the man is, and he slapped his white fanny.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. The Warriors last night against the Clippers, not good. But in celebration of Women's Empowerment Month, I didn't know that March was called that. That may be Women's Month. Women's Empowerment Month. The NBC Sports Bay Area, that's the regional sports network for the Warriors, they had an all-female broadcast team. They had Jenny Kavner, who is the Sacramento A's broadcaster. Cheryl Miller, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest ever, and the Valkyries head coach, Natalie Nakase. They did the broadcast, along with reporters Kareth Burke, Laura Britt, and Zena Keita? I know the first two. Denise Long-Rife, the first woman ever selected in an NBA draft. She was drafted by the Warriors in 1969. She was the ceremonial bell ringer. And whenever I see her name, because Denise Long-Rife played in the era of 6-on-6 basketball and scored a national record 6,250 points at Union Witten High School. I never knew about 6-on-6 basketball, to tell you the truth. Franklin Muley drafted her in the 13th round, just as like a little nod to her. Then they created the Warriors Girls Basketball League in San Francisco, especially for her. This was a little bit before my time. This was the 60s. But whenever I see her name, Denise Long-Rife, R-I-F-E, I just picture long rifle, 22 caliber, rim shot, long rifle. And I wonder how many other people, maybe it's just me, Denise Long Rifle. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow we'll have some Oscar-winning movie makers in studio. Who is it? Meryl Streep and Brad Pitt? I don't know. Come on back.